Master Grade Gundam version 3.0. What is up, everybody? It is 1-to-1 Robert 184, 2 R's, 2 B's, GundamReviews.net, and you've already seen the unbox on the parts for the Master Grade Gundam 3.0. Some parts incredibly dull as they're just repeats, but other parts, this, I'm sure the body is going to more than make up for it, but it's got to work after the fun build when it all gets put together, so let's see that now. But wow, in terms of first impressions, nothing but positive things to say about the way this guy looks and is styled and the proportions. Starting with the details in the legs, the three colors there, the non-magnet coating looking better for the ankles and the knees for me, and those steels on the back, well, they're not really going to detract from anything anyway, but it's the kind of thing where when I'm looking at this guy, I used to think that the 2.0 was the greatest thing I've ever seen because it was completely anime accurate, silly and all, it just looked exactly the way the anime should. But since then, if you've had a chance to see the 1-to-1 Gundam, when you see this kit actually put together, I think it's absolutely amazing the way that the 1-to-1 can just sort of take over your imagination and consciousness. When you see this one and you see all the details and you see all the parts and you see it in real life, and then you get to see it on your shelf in a much more visible 18 centimeter form, this guy for me is now going to take the cake just on first looks only in terms of just being the ultimate Gundam, the 1-to-1, brought home now in the perfect and my favorite grade. But looks don't mean much unless it's going to go along with good posability here, so let's start with the front skirts. Moving up and down independently there, you can see them come forward, although that's going to set that piece ajar there. And if you want to twist it off to the side, you can do crazy stuff like that, although you'll notice it'll collapse downwards. For the leg kick coming forward, there you can see the old piece go off, and the knee. Remember, it's got that nice sound as it actually goes down. The click shouldn't be intimidating, and you do have some nice pieces moving around all over the place. And the ankle down here, nice roll off to the side. The ankle guards are going to go nicely up and down. And that feet, the foot here with this three-part split, looks fantastic. The side skirts and the skirts overall do feel a little bit flimsy, and you'll notice that they're not really going to get out of the way unless you want to cheat more with the upper body, but you can still get the legs up there pretty good. But I've got to say that so far with that core block on the inside there, that the upper body comes across as just being a little bit flimsy, and it seems like it wants to fall back just a little bit and expose a lot of blue down there, so I'm going to have to check the way it's connected. But overall, it can crunch forward nicely, it can go backwards there very well. Off to the side, it will stay in place, same way the other way, of course. And for the shoulders, you already saw before that these parts here are going to conflict a little bit. They'll rotate around though nicely, and that bend there for the elbow is just looking fantastic. Love the way it does it, and all the slide mechanisms. And if you do want to get this up and out of the way here, you can pop it up, and you can see that it'll actually come out if you try to move it around too much. Now during the assembly, you may have noticed a couple conflicts there, as the brown part that's going to be attached on and that blue one, you're going to want to put them on a little bit carefully. I already had the shoulders separate here as these two pieces became in conflict with each other. The ransel in action here, well, you can bring this whole thing forward, and if you move those lower boosters, you can keep the top ones locked into place. Love the clear parts there, and you can see the beam sabers here moving around very nicely forward and back. Huge range of motion. Hopefully it's going to be actually able to get up there. And in terms of the head, even though it's got the LED gimmick in there, it's actually got a great range of motion. This guy can look down and intimidating at you, even from 18 meters. So let's go to the burning question. How does he look next to the 2.0 there? You can see that if the legs were straight, the heights would be pretty much identical. But even though this isn't quite apples and apples here because we've got the titanium version over on the right, but the overall looks of this, I used to think that this was absolutely incredible the way it captured the power of the anime, but the way this one captures the 1-to-1, he's barely posed, I've hardly done anything with him, and he just looks so well detailed, so mechanical, the way the three colors go there together, the proportions and the big cartoony hands we sort of got used to with the 2.0 there, but I just say I love the 2.0, and now I've come to feel the same about the number 3. Now my new Gundam is up on display, and this will never change. Just love the way this guy looks with the extra fin funnels on. But in terms of similarities between the plastic, this guy and his 2 shades of white or gray are going to be looking really good. Definitely looks great as a successor suit to this one. But in terms of technology, I'd say that this one's going to look even better than this one. And that is one of my absolute favorites. And it's the kind of thing, if you ever wanted to do the evolution of Amuro suits, that these kinds of displays are just begging to be made here. But when it comes to posing, this guy is going to make it easy. You'll notice that the feet aren't quite down there flat, but the legs are going to move nicely. The arms, it's not going to feel quite as smooth as the 2.0, but if you go at this guy looking down the barrel menacingly, no problem at all. The shield brings all the 2.0 features, so you can hook the beam rifle into it, slide the eye cover closed, and you can actually put it onto the back there, but I'm actually pretty impressed. I was a little worried that this little gray part here wasn't going to hold it onto the forearm very well, but it does a good job, and with the emotion manipulators, you can get an even firmer grip down there. My only complaint so far is that it just slides a little bit too easily here, which allows it to just fall down into the down position all the time, even if it's not what you want. And you'll end up with an across-the-body shot that's looking alright. Just when you are going for posing, it'll probably fall out a couple times, but then again, that menacing look in the eyes almost makes up for it. If only it was lit. And the bazooka is going to have problems like all Gundam bazookas or Zaku ones or anything in the series do. Going over the shoulder is always going to be slightly problematic, but I've got to say with the posability you're getting out of the shoulders and the arms, it's doing a good job, and the emotion manipulators seem to make this even easier. And I am pleased that this part bends down, as we've already seen with the 2.0, but the softer plastic just gives you that versatility when you're trying to get it in the hand in the right position, that it will actually go there. And again, anything that you do with the legs and the ground poses, this guy's looking pretty intimidating. But some problems require a more close-up touch, so let's see how this is going to go. With almost no effort whatsoever, you can bend that part back in or put it out, but you could have him very neatly posed on your shelf as he's getting ready to pull out the old original double dealers, even before ASM was invented. And though the beam there is extra wide as it is third party, again, you're just going to be incredibly impressed with whatever you try to do with the legs. They will go there if you don't mind the odd piece flying off. But the beam sabers work very well in the hand. Just a note though about the emotion manipulators that you're really going to want to make a point of working each joint through before you actually try to pose everything, because otherwise the fingers are just going to be flying off. But this guy looks intimidating at any range. Unless he decides to take up yoga. Don't forget that the poses and the weapons are going to be the same as the 2.0 more or less, but overall very impressive, especially in the looks department. But stick around for my final thoughts in the verdict. I'll have all the good and bad that I could pick out for this kit, and of course I'd love to hear your verdict with a comment down below. Thanks for watching everybody. Stick around for more news, reviews, and everything else you can use. See ya. Come on kid, that's enough. You're embarrassing yourself.